What's up, Cloud Gamers? Welcome to another episode of CGX Cast, episode number 10. It's crazy how we're already at 10 episodes, but just want to give a shout out real quick. I know some of you guys have not seen me on this channel for for a week's time, and if you guys didn't know, there's been a fire here by where I live, and I've had to evacuate and stay with family members. So Chief has been holding it down with the videos, so that's what you guys have been seeing. And like I was talking to the panel before we started, I'm kind of lost because I haven't been following a lot that's been going in cloud gaming space. But I think these guys here are very informative and knowledgeable, so they should be able to have some good insight into what's going on. So we're going to get started with the Google Stadia news. But before we do so, we're going to introduce the members of the panel. We're running a little low today with just 5 of us in total, but hey, that's okay. I think we can hold it down. So to get started, Duncan, how are you, sir? What have you been doing? What have you been playing? What platform have you been using?
I have been playing a load of games on basically everything you can think of. So I've played a bit of PlayStation, played a bit of Xbox, played a bit of Stadia, played a bit of uh, Shadow for a bit, if I could get onto it, because I think we're going to touch on that later, because a couple of us have had some issues with that.
Right.
But I've been playing a lot of Avengers, and I've got some tennis on in the background there, which I've been messing about with. But I've had a good week playing.
Nice.
Um,
Nice. Cool. Good to hear. Good to hear. How about you, Holt? What have you been up to? What have you been playing? What platform?
So I've been playing on Gamepass via the Shadow. I've been playing Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance, which is a
Mm,
really cool game. So it's a strategic game RPG, which is based off the Jim Henderson's Puppeteer movie, based in the
mm,
80s, and sort of on the same Netflix production as well. So you play sort of like Elflands, trying to push back the evil Skeksis to save the crystal of Thor. And it's you get characters and you move them around on the tiles with special abilities you usually see in games, like sort of like healer, attacker, tank, and you just progress through like 50 levels. But I've been really enjoying it because it's like a twisted fairy tale, and the
mm.
sound's beautiful and it looks gorgeous.
Nice. That's awesome. Might have to give that a go and take a look at that for sure. How about you, Jerry? What have you been playing? What platform, and how have you been doing, sir?
Hey, I've been doing good, and mostly Avengers, and I've been playing that on Shadow or maximum settings when I'm using a cloud service, and of course, we got that to Geforce Now last night, so I've been strictly playing it over there since then today. But other than that, again, Geforce Now for Rogue Company, it's really easy to run on there and play real quick. So that's about all I've had time for this week is Avengers and some Rogue Company, Shadow and Geforce Now.
Nice. You still playing Rogue?
Yeah, every now and then. I mean, if you get the itch, you got
Right.
you got to
Right.
jump on. It's only usually for 1 or 2 games though. 3 rounds or 6, and then I go on to something else.
Okay.
It's a good game, but it didn't stick with me as hardcore as something like going back to duty every other day and stuff like that. But
Right. Okay. Cool. And you, Ben, how have you been, sir? What have you been playing? What platform?
Yeah, I've been playing. Sorry,
You're
I'm
good.
at the pool. I got screaming kids.
You're good.
um, yeah, I've been playing the Tony Hawk.
Oh, he cut out. If
just
he
playing
comes
Tony
back in,
Hawk, Pro
yeah.
Skater 1, 2,
If he comes back in, we'll
which
get
is
back
also
to
really
him.
good.
It's a great game. It's a great game. All right, so we're gonna get right into this a lot. Again, you guys see with the title some of the stuff that we're gonna be covering. Ubisoft had an awesome, I would call it awesome. All right, here comes Ben. Let's uh, give him a little bit, then we'll get back to him actually. But let's talk about this Ubisoft Forward event. It's kind of interesting because people were giving Google Stadia a lot of flack because every Tuesday at, let's say, 9 a.m., right, they have a segment to where they give us the news for Stadia for the week. And people are like, oh, Stadia missed Tuesday, what's going on, da 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 da. And then the Ubisoft event happened, and then they released a statement letting us know the Stadia news update. And boy, oh boy, did we get some pretty cool stuff from Stadia at this event. And I have to say, this is the first time we saw Phil Harrison since I don't know how long, right? And this feels pretty good to see you, man. You should make more appearances. But just want to talk to these guys about just this show, this event. Overall, we're going to get a grade for this event, but then we're also going to talk about the Stadia news that came from this event. And to get started, Jerry, what's your take on this event? And actually, before you do that, sorry, let's get Ben in here and just get a update with him and how he's been doing and what game he's been playing. So Ben, sorry, can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened. I must have lost my connection.
No, you're good.
I've been playing mainly Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Remastered on
Okay.
Shadow.
Yeah.
And a little bit of Fallen Order.
Cool. Okay. And you've been doing pretty good with the daughter and all that?
Oh yeah, no, we're just at the pool right now, and I totally lost track of time.
You're good. Cool, cool. All right. So we're just gonna were you able to hear what we were talking about with the Google Stadia segment we're about to go into now?
Yeah, the Ubisoft Forward.
Okay.
Yeah, I've watched that this week.
Cool, cool. All right, we'll get to Jerry. Jerry, what's your thought on this event? How would you grade it overall?
So I didn't get to watch the event live, but I went back and checked out all the highlight trailers and all the different things from the event and the Stadia announcements. And at least finally, I was happy to see, and I figured with fall coming, as games get announced, Stadia is going to be included, and they're either going to be at the same time or they're going to be timed exclusives or whatever they are. So, Scott Pilgrim was one that was pretty funny because I was just talking to a group of friends about that game. If anybody doesn't know, Scott Pilgrim was on Xbox 360, and I don't know what other platforms. And then it was a digital only arcade game. And when they pulled it from the store, that was it. You couldn't get it anymore.
Yeah.
So there's actually quite a little cult following for this game that's just clamoring to get their hands on that. And so the fact that you're going to be able to play that, especially on Stadia, and I think it's probably going to run really well there, was pretty exciting to see for sure. What's the Phoenix Rising? So I saw gameplay of this game all over the place, not just for Stadia, but for Switch and for everything. And the funny thing about the all the Switch content I watched was it's so compared to Zelda Breath of the Wild. But in a good way. Nobody was complaining. It had the demos they were playing had their own feel and characteristics, and it wasn't like a Zelda ripoff or anything. But the art design and the open world and the climbing all the surfaces and just little things really gave it that feel, which I'm kind of excited for because I like the look of this game. So it was a game not on my radar at all, and now I absolutely can't wait to get my hands on it and play it. It's just a matter of where am I going to play it. But
right. So what's your take on Stadia team just being really aggressive with, this game and trying to get, early access to, I believe, the demo and trying to get this on Google Stadia to begin with? Do you think that's a good move for them? What's your take on
Oh yeah, for sure. This game is going to be really popular and is going to be on all kind of platforms. And if this was just another podcast where we were discussing Stadia not getting a super hyped game, it would be really upsetting. So it's all positive news for that, definitely. And it's a game that I think Stadia needs, and I think it's going to do well for them.
Right. Okay. Good. Awesome. So what's your take on this whole event? How would you grade it, and just Google Stadia's approach to trying to get some exclusive content out of Ubisoft with this event?
So I went into this event with expectations, thinking I'm going to see Uplay Plus, so I can sort of work out how I'm going to. Do I want to buy games or do I want to join a subscription? But overall, when it didn't appear, I still think that it was a good event. I'd give it like 6 out of 10. There was like 3 games that I was really happy, or 4 games I was really happy to see. I was happy to see some footage of Prince of Persia. I'm a big fan of Sands of Time. I love the idea of Immortals Phoenix Rise, and I'm a big, huge fan of Zelda games. And when I look at it, I think, of course, Breath of the Wild meets God of War meets, I know, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Going around killing gorgons and harpies and minotaurs. I just think that's a game that I just want to start off and go anywhere. I don't want the game to hold my hand. I just want to pick a point and move around. And I thought to myself, that is something I can really sink my teeth into. And then, of course, moving through Watch Dogs and really enjoying Watch Dogs was, I'm really hyped for that game. And it's a shame they didn't push it forward, but just having a little sneak peek a bit more is getting me all excited for it.
Cool. Awesome. How about you, Duncan? What's your take on this event and how it relates to Google Stadia?
Okay, since I may have hinted this on Twitter here, I think it was a good event for Ubisoft. I would give it a B plus sort of rating. We're going for that. 7, 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I love Ubisoft as a platform holder. Basically, all the games I want to give a go for a Stadia perspective. I think we all got carried away because the Lord Almighty himself, Phil, made an appearance, and we just got completely taken away. What are we celebrating here? Stadia is getting a demo, and Stadia is finally getting a pre-order. I think we're just getting, if you just put it in layman's terms, that is what everybody is getting hyped up about. What we are forgetting about during the Ubisoft conference from a Stadia perspective, I don't want to say it because I'm the one who unfortunately coined the term. Logo Gate made its way again, but because of Phil making his appearance, we skipped over that. The updates to Ghost Recon and was it Ghost Recon? The Division 2 was definitely in this because there was no Stadia logo with the new update to it. So people will think, oh, Stadia is not, that's not on Stadia, and that's arguably Stadia's probably showcase game at the moment. There was no logo on that. So from a Stadia perspective, I would actually give this a C plus sort of thing. I think we've just been overwhelmed for actually seeing Phil for the first time in about a year, and we've just got ahead of ourselves. So, and again, we've got all this news coming out from PAX here as well. And sorry, I'm just getting stuff here. Borderlands 3 is getting an update, but it's not getting an update for Stadia. It's getting updated to 4K 60, and if you're not aware, on Stadia, it's only 4K 30. So the next gen versions are getting the bumps here. So Stadia is it's one of these ones, the game where they're taking a step forward, but they're also taking 2 steps back, and there's no joined up sort of thinking again.
Yeah. It's interesting to hear you take. I have something I want to say about Stadia too with this event, but I'm gonna wait till everyone else goes. But Ben, let's hear from you. What's your take on this event? How would you grade it, and how do you think Stadia did in this event?
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool seeing Phil Harrison for the first time in months. I get that. I got super excited and nerded out for apparently no reason because he really didn't do much. I agree with Duncan. It was really cool to see a demo coming our way, an exclusive demo that nobody else is getting for Immortals, for Phoenix Rising. That'll be really cool. I'll probably play that demo. I don't know if I'll actually buy the game, but maybe the demo will change my mind. Overall, I'd say it's like a 6 out of 10. The general grade for it didn't really meet the expectations I was looking for. I will say, biggest thing for me that I got out of that was I discovered Stormzy. I'd never heard of him before. I've been listening to him all week. Really like his music now because he was in Watch Dogs Legions with that mission and that video. So that was pretty cool. I had a couple people on the Discord that told me how his music is pretty awesome. It got me listening.
Right. Okay. Cool. So just to give my take on this event and Google Stadia's appearance at this event. So I thought that I would rate this event around 7, 8 out of 10. I thought it was a good showing from Ubisoft. Yeah, it's so interesting because like people are really hyping up Phoenix Rising, and I would say approach this game with a lot of caution. The reason I say this is because this game was scheduled to come out a lot sooner than it is, right? And so when they showed this game off, right? This was when Ubisoft was showcasing Ghost Recon Breakpoint. They were showcasing the Rainbow Six Quarantine, right? They had a portfolio of games that was supposed to come out, and this game was in like one of the highlights games. I don't know if you guys saw what happened after that showcase, right? The financial report came back with the performance of Breakpoint, and they were like, oh, shoot, we need to delay some of our games. We need to work on some of our games. So I was watching this game and I was like, something seems off with this game. If you look at the fighting, right, it doesn't feel right. I don't know if you guys witnessed and knows that as well. First of all, if you look at the damage, right, it looks like something you'll see from like a MMORPG, like low numbers go high. Think about like the Division, think about like their game to service type of games, the Division, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. My take, my thing with Phoenix Risings, that game was supposed to be a game to service type of game, right? But they saw with the flack that they got with Breakpoint and the financial report that they kind of changed that game last minute. And if you know anything about like development cycles when it comes to games, that is not good. And so my thing is Google, I I believe Stadia approached them to kind of get like an exclusive content or thing with this game, and that's why they get this demo. But I feel like Stadia probably paid a hefty price. So I'm just warning you guys with this game. I'm happy, right, that it's actually coming out, but approach it with caution because I don't think this was the game that they intended it to be. And I think last minute they made some changes. And I think that's why it looks like if you look at the trailer they showed, sorry if I'm taking too long to rant on this, but it looks just like Breath of the Wild. You see him climbing, you see him gliding. The story is pretty similar. There's a final boss, which was Gandalf in Breath of the Wild, and you have to do all these things. And then the last thing is you go fight this boss. I mean, it's just like copy and paste with Greek mythology put into it. It's not original. And I think they saw that was the formula that worked and they tried to approach it. My thing is just approach this game with caution. I see a lot of people really excited for it. I'm seeing people getting excited because like Stadia is getting, some exclusive content. But I believe Google Stadia is bailing this game out and they probably paid money to get that exclusive. But I think it's money that Ubisoft needed to actually make this game happen. So that's my take. Don't want to sit here and ramble on and off with this. But with this mindset panel, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think this game has potential to be like the next Breath of the Wild that, Google Stadia needs? Or do you feel like Google Stadia kind of paid for a broken game overall? Jerry, what's your take on this?
That's a really interesting way to look at it because I've watched a ton of gameplay or the demos, and I don't think we're gonna really have the answer until, of course, a more amount of people get their hands on it and actually see what it's like to play the game for hours and hours and hours. I don't love everything about Breath of the Wild either, but it is an amazing game. So they definitely had to change direction, and they definitely delayed a ton of games after Breakpoint. Hugely disappointed after playing Wildlands for so long when Breakpoint came out. It just was not my thing. I'm gonna try to stay positive and have faith that they did all that. They better not. They better not Anthem it, because so many people are burned from like that game and other ones. And it wasn't just that one. There was about at least a year. And I know there's years of bad games coming out, but that year of Anthem and the months before, game after game after game, disappointing, rushed, feels in beta. And horrible. So I'm hoping we don't this quickly slip back into that. So I did like a lot of what I saw. Everything you said is true, though. So, I approach every game with caution anyway after 34 years of playing a bunch of bombs. But yeah, I'm going to hold hope that they didn't do that. They're not doing all these delays. Same thing with Watch Dogs. It got delayed big time, too. And we're finally getting it. And it looks awesome. So I'm just going to hope that they don't do it. But they might. They might Anthem us. You never know.
True. just back to what you were saying, I guess like the change that they made, this was originally supposed to be an Anthem type of game, and I think probably Watchdog Legion was too, and that's why we saw that delay. And now they're switching the narrative to be more story focused, which is good. I think that's what people want instead of all this, the Division Destiny type of looter games. They had loot in this game, which I find interesting too. But anyway, just
It's
want
kind
to
of
hear.
simplified more than
Yeah,
others. Yeah.
true, true. Holtz, what's your take on this?
I am that positive. I clicked pre-order. I have faith in this game, and it doesn't
Good,
bother me if
good.
Stadia bought them, and it doesn't bother me if it's a copy and paste of Breath of the Wild, meaning like you've got 4 areas, 4 bosses,
Right.
and you sort of progress to the end location. It doesn't bother me that the underworld looks exactly like the shrines. I love puzzles, as long as it's
Yeah.
not too hard, but I love it. I love, progressing with certain weapons. I
Right.
love defeating all the Greek mythology. I hope there's more, demigods. I want Hercules, I want Achilles, I want Perseus. I want to go around killing them all, just like God of War style. And a
Right.
lot of people complained about Darksiders sort of being Zelda-esque years ago. But I played that game, stuck by it, flew around with me wings, me boomerang, me bombs, and I really loved it. So I'm
Yeah.
happy to have a similar game exactly like it. Can't
Yeah.
rinse and repeat. I'm happy
Cool.
as long as it's on a cloud service.
Cool.
And it looks beautiful, and I bet with the soundtrack's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And maybe we should stop away and stop comparing games, because I've been saying at the last podcast, it's like Breath of the Wild. It's like Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
but all Breath of the Wild is an open world, isn't it, really? That you can just go and explore. So
Yeah.
you can't. So maybe Zelda copied certain stuff as well. So I have no hatred towards Immortals for doing something similar.
True. True. Good take. Good point. Duncan, what's your take on this?
I think it's like Assassin's Creed. No, I'm just joking there. Oh, sorry. I am not having pre-order because I'm hoping that Uplay Plus is coming. It's going to be one of my. It's on my list to get. I will be getting it if Uplay Plus comes. If not, I will wait because it's too soon after the 2 other Ubisoft games in Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs. I know I would still be playing them, and I'm not going to be paying full price for that game, where you can actually start getting it cheaper already on Amazon. It's £10 cheaper, or £10, $10. It's £10 and $10 cheaper if you buy it physical or digitally on other platforms. So I'm going to be holding off on it, even though I think it looks really cool and it's actually getting a load of brave good reviews with hands-ons. And yeah, I'm going to be getting it. It's when I'm going to be getting it is the question.
True. Yeah. Again, Ubisoft has a packed list of portfolio of games coming, which again, with Watch Dogs, with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and now this game in December too. A lot of great Ubisoft title coming. So it's a matter of like, when are you going to pick this one up? Cool, cool. How about you, Ben? What's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in a similar boat. The one big thing is I'm worried about it being, with all the next gen consoles coming out, of this looking like a previous gen console game, and people just kind of being, City's got demo. How effective is that going to be at bringing people into cloud gaming? On top of that, with Jim Stadia and other people uncovering, and 95 people uncovering code saying that Play Plus is coming. What's the logic behind buying that? You can just get a subscription that'll cover it.
Right.
I mean, some of those guys are finding all this code that says it's coming. So
Right.
maybe I'll wait and see. I'm not convinced, but
Yeah.
the game does look like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Graphically, we'll see.
Sure. Okay. Cool, cool. I know you got the kiddo back there. But so overall, again, I see mixed. I guess like I'm the only one mixed, but I think people are, like Duncan was saying, the hands-on impression has been quite positive. My thing is, again, just go at this with caution, but I hope, right? It'll be pretty cool if this comes out and it's great. And again, the good part is, if Google did pay for those exclusive rights and first with the demo, then that's gonna just bring more attention to Stadia. So overall, some positive might come out of this for Stadia. I do want to know, though, there are other games that was announced with the bike riding down the hill game. I think that game right there has my interest more than anything else that was showcased there. But any other games from the Ubisoft title, and Stadia is getting pretty much most, I would say, if not all of those games that was announced. But any other games catch your attention from this event that's coming to Stadia? We'll start off with you, Holtz. What's your take?
Well, you just mentioned Riders Republic, and I
Damn it.
seen that, and
Right.
I thought to myself, that game just looks chaotically fun. 50
Right.
players going down a hill. I just love games like SSX Tricky or, Tony Hawk's where I can do stunts. I might not be very good at them in these days, but I thought to myself, I just want to go around that mountain and find exactly what I'm looking for. I want to go to a peak and ride downhill. I want to race with friends. I want to go in jumpsuits, jetpacks. I want to do it all. So when I saw it, I thought to myself, this is a game that I didn't expect to come out, but I thought this is a game that I need. So I was really impressed with it.
Cool. Yeah, the game looks really awesome. How about you, Jerry? What's your take on the games that was announced?
Oh, I'm dying to hear what Duncan has to say about this. But yeah, it's the same as Holtz. That was the only other game I was going to really mention, and then I saw that here as well, the Riders Republic. And this isn't an exact comparison, but I was a huge fan of the Pilot Wings games back in the day, and just being able to do like hand gliding and flying, all kinds of different stuff you could do there. So this didn't necessarily remind me of that, but I think like the feeling of it, like imagine if you had like 50 people all skydiving on Pilot Wings trying to land in that same little spot or something, it would be crazy. So this was, like Holt said, a game that I hadn't really seen anything on. Maybe I missed it, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, I definitely would check that out. It's definitely something I could get into, especially when I saw, what was the guy in like a chicken costume or something? He falls off the bike and breaks his arms. I'm in. As soon as someone's wearing a costume riding a bike down a hill, I'm in.
Right. How about you, Duncan? What's your take on the games that was announced?
Okay, here we go. I think we're probably going to touch on this slightly later when we get into the xCloud sort of section, when we're going to start talking about Xboxes. This game actually picked my eyebrows up. I'm very, very interested in this game. However, as we're seeing over the last couple of days, we're starting to get the Xbox Series X specs and PlayStation 5, what the games are going to be running for, or what they're going to be running. They're going to be 4K 60 and all that. This game, I've actually got the press release here in front of me. I'm actually being prepared. Isn't that shocking for everybody? Riders Republic will display more than 50 players on next generation's consoles and PCs, and more than 20 players on current generation consoles. Can you see where my point is going here?
Go ahead, break it down, Duncan.
What is Stadia? Is Stadia next generation, or are they current gen?
Great question.
According to my copyright strike, they are current generation now. So, I can tell you that from the 2 or 3 emails I got trying to talk about certain things I can't even freaking mention for whatever reason that everyone else can. So yeah, they are definitely current gen as far as I know.
So what do you think, Duncan? Do you feel like the current gen and next gen?
I think they're current gen, and this is going to. I think we're going to probably talk about this a bit more later. But I'm just seeing. We're seeing the positive stuff with Stadia at the moment. You're getting out in front of things. You're being a bit more proactive in social media, sort of, after getting shouted at earlier in the week. They're starting to promote things. Even today, they've got the wee animation. I can't even say it. I'm half asleep here tonight. And we've got the game announcement there tonight for Risk of Rain 2. They've actually announced it. They've been out proactive. That has been confirmed, and Stadia is actually getting a new level first on Stadia, so they're flashing a bit of cash there. My concern is now, are they going to get the bump in line with the next gen of consoles, or are they going to be current gen? It's starting to become a worry, because Borderlands 3 has just announced that they're upping their specs for next gen, 4K 60. What's on Stadia? 4K 30. Is Stadia going to start getting left behind because they're not next gen? That is maybe a broader point we need to go. And this is what actually I picked up on after I seen this. This is why I'm not as hyped up from a Stadia perspective from the Ubisoft conference, or one of the reasons why.
That makes sense. So I guess your concern is these games that are coming, right? Is Google Stadia gonna get like the next gen version of this game? And that's a great argument to have. What are they? Are they next gen or are they, still with current gen specs? And again, this is where Google PR, they just need to come out and say what they are, right? We've heard rumors and speculation of a Gen 2. When is that coming out? Clear communication can really help. I know a game that I'm dying to see come next gen is NBA 2K21. I know PlayStation 4 is going to get the next gen of that. What's going to happen with Google Stadia? We're going to see the next gen version of that game. Again, great questions to be asking. But yeah, this is a really good point for sure. So we're gonna check in with Ben. What's your take on these games? Any of them like have your attention? Any of them are you excited to really play? What's your take?
Well, I'll say that the Riders Republic was an unexpected surprise. I thought that game looked more fun than any other game that I saw. I will say, to Jerry's point, my speculation, and again, this is just purely speculation. I think they're quickly hushing any reason of calling them Gen 2 because I think that in November, as soon as their first year anniversary hits, they're gonna roll out Gen 2. That's coming
Ooh,
right around the corner, and for a PR stunt, they got to keep everybody quiet.
that's
So they
good.
don't want anybody speculating out loud. They don't want anybody talking about it. I think as soon as that hits, they've already mentioned Gen 2.
Ooh,
So they are being ridiculously quiet about it, and I
right.
think that's why. And being that that's just a month and a half away, we're almost there. There's no reason to not speculate on that. And then getting copyright strikes with them saying, "Don't talk about that. Don't talk about that. That's not real. That's not real." Oh, here it is.
Right.
So with that being said, that speculation out there, I assume that Stadia is going to get the Gen 2 version of that, and this is going to be like a grid race, like the chaoticness of Grid mixed with the downhill style of Trials Rising and the art style of The Crew. I think
Mm,
that's going to be an awesome game to play on Stadia.
right.
It's just going to be so much fun, so much just hecticness, and you throw some crowd play in there, and it's just going to be just ridiculous.
Ridiculous. That's a really great point, Ben. Really didn't think about Stadia 1 year official anniversary coming up and how, they can use that to potentially announce, right, Gen 2. That's really interesting. Really appreciate that insight, bro. It's cool. Cool. All right, so those were the games that was announced. And again, I think I would rate this a 7 out of 10. But I just want to move to the next segment, and this should be here day one. But again, kudos for them to get this. I know again, people who watch us think we hate Stadium, we always bash them. We don't. Again, we love all of these platforms and services, and we want them to just do the best that they can. But pre-orders is a thing that is officially now available for Google Stadia. Two games that you can pre-order right now is Hitman 3 and Phoenix Rising. So just wanted to talk to the panel. Have you guys actually pre-ordered the game? Are you guys excited about Google Stadia finally getting pre-orders? I know when the Switch came out, I from what I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, in the chat on the panel, Switch didn't have pre-order right away, and they eventually got it. So I guess we can give Google Stadia that slack and say, hey, you know, um, Switch didn't have it from the get go as well. But just want to know, what's your take on pre orders? Have you guys used this feature? Are you guys excited about it? Do you think they should add more games to it? Let's start with Holt. What's your take on Stadia game pre orders?
Oh, I welcomed it. I wanted it faster for all my games. I know a lot of people say it's useless pre-ordering digital games, but to me, pre-ordering gives me the flexibility on my wallet. So when I see a game and I sort of just buy it, and I can always refund it over time, I guess. But it
Yeah.
sort of just helps me sort of plan how I actually want my year to play out. So at the moment with Stadia, I've owned now Beyond Light, which is that was the first one, wasn't it? And now I own Immortals Phoenix Rising. as pre-orders, and I'll happily keep them.
Yeah.
So now I've got 2 games already paid for. So when the release date comes, no matter if they get pushed back or pushed forward, I'll access them straight away.
True.
So I'm a big fan of having the option to pre-orders. It's no harm for anyone, but just for maybe like gamers like myself that want it, it's a good option.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool again that you're excited about pre-orders and you're already using it. Does anyone here, I guess we'll talk more about pre-orders, but I want to know, maybe you might know this, Holtz, but does anyone know how the refund policy works for pre-orders, right? Because you have a certain amount of time before you're allowed to return the game off of Google Play. I know for the Switch, you only get like a one-time refund. So that's an advantage I would say Stadia has over the Switch, is the fact that you can refund. But what's the time limit? If you pre-order today, does that now start counting the return days? Or is it when the game then comes out, you have I guess like 14 days to return? Do you know anything about the return policy for pre-orders?
Well, I know with the PlayStation and stuff like that, you can't get a refund once the download initiates. And I know Nintendo Switch do 7 days before, but I thought with Stadia you can get your refunds as long as you've played up to 2 hours of the game. So you can't download the game. So it's not ticking by saying that you've activated the license. So you only activate the license when you click play for the first time. So I assume.
Duncan.
Yes, what you're saying there is correct, Holtz. However, with Destiny 2 and New Night, whatever it's called, I was suckered into buying that because I just wanted to see what the process is like. They are very clever because what do you get when you pre-order that game? You get stuff, and you can't return it because you get DLC. It's DLC rather than pre-ordering the game. So which is completely different. I know it's hard to get your head around. You can't actually return the Destiny expansion.
Interesting. That's good to know.
I'm not sure about Hitman 3, but I know for this game, Phoenix Rising, they're not actually taking the money out until the actual day. So there is, as with Stadia, it is as clear as mud because you don't know what is going on, and they have different policies for different games. So I don't think it's actually been set in stone yet with Stadia.
Okay. Good to know. Something to definitely think about if you're thinking about pre-ordering. But just you, Jared, what's your take on Google Stadia just getting pre-orders? And sorry, someone was mentioning here that Destiny Hardlight is also another game that you can pre-order. So yeah, I guess I forgot that one. But yeah, what's your take on Google Stadia and pre-ordering?
Yeah, what Holtz was saying is it doesn't hurt anybody, right? There's nothing wrong with having pre-orders. Some gamers really, really like to be able to do that. I kind of quit pre-ordering most of my stuff quite a while ago when I went all digital. I tend to, because a lot of people get those early reviews out a day or 2 days or 3 days ahead of time, and I can kind of judge because I have definitely changed my mind. However, if Stadia does like 14 days from the time that the game comes out, like if they kind of do that, or if that's when they take the money out, or the 2 hours, if they go with that, it definitely helps with the pre-order because you'll be good to go. Or Nintendo does the 7 days, but if they do it like from the time you pre-order, you would be watching the calendar, making sure you're not going to run into that time frame. So since it isn't super clear, but I mean, I think pre-orders are great. People like to do it. You usually just don't get enough extra for pre-ordering. Like back in the day, you used to actually get some pretty cool stuff for pre-ordering, but now it's just usually not much. So I usually just kind of wait it out and just buy it the day it comes out. But
you get like emotes and skins that
right
are not even. Yeah, cool. All right, Duncan, what's your take on I was gonna say Switch, but Stadia getting pre-orders? Your mic is muted, I think.
I have both things muted for a change, which because I don't think anybody wants to hear me anyway. With that, I've wanted it months upon months upon months ago. It's not even just, it's just so people can plan out what's coming and
Yep.
when it's coming. I do not like this coming soon nonsense and then shadow dropping about 20 games all at once and you have to go, what game am I going to buy? At least we're starting to see some sort of roadmap now. We know when some of the big games are coming. It's just at its plan, and that's why I like it.
Okay. Yeah, I think you and Holtz hit it right in the head. It's a good way to plan, with a lot of games coming out in the fall. You're like, all right, I paid for this, can mark that down. Pay for that, mark that down. What else haven't I paid for? All right, put this in my wish list, work on paying that off later. So it's a good way to just prioritize, what games you've paid for and what games you haven't. So true on that.
And I'm
Ben,
even the type of gamer that, so I'm the type of gamer that plans that well. When I go shopping, if I see a £10 Google Play credit, I'll just pick it up and go, okay, I'll just add that to my basket because I know I want to sort of start saving for the games that I want.
Right.
So every little step helps.
True. Good point. How about you, Ben? What's your take on Stadium pre-orders?
I mean, I'm not a big pre-order type person. I mean, when it comes to like cell phones, maybe, but that's about my limit on pre-ordering. So I like watching lots of reviews first before I make a decision. So I rely on, people like, UAce and Sunny and Jerry to tell me what I should actually download, what I should see. Watch that gameplay first, and then I make that decision. I mean, I just bought Avengers today. It's been out for a week. I wanted to make sure that it was something I was going to enjoy playing before I actually bought it.
Sure.
So I probably won't make much use of the pre-order on Stadia, but I think it is great that they did add that because I know a lot of people love it, and a lot of people can't wait to spend their money as fast as possible.
True. All right. So again, we've covered the Ubisoft event and Google Stadia as a whole. For the week, we have so much more to cover when it comes to cloud gaming news. But just want to take a sec. I see some of you guys are talking to us in the chat. What's up, guys? And again, thank you guys for being here. We have 27 of you guys on. So again, at the end of this podcast, we're gonna just give time to take questions. So gather your questions, get them ready, and we will try to make time for you. Just want to know for you, Jerry, just overall, which game you talked about? Was it you that mentioned Scott Pilgrim? What's the name of the
Scott
game?
Pilgrim
Yeah. What game stands out to you the most out of all those announced? Let's just do that before we
from
get to the
Ubisoft from the event.
yes from the event.
Yeah, I mean, like I had said, for Phoenix was one that kind of got my attention. That didn't really have my attention before, and we'll see where that goes. And Riders Republic was a big one, and just like I was saying, the cult following of Scott Pilgrim because of the movie and the original game on 360, and a lot of groups of friends used to hang out doing things on the weekend, watching those movies over and over again. So that was pretty exciting for a lot of people. It won't get a lot of hype and it won't do what some of the other games do, but the fact that they're bringing that back and putting it on there is really awesome.
Cool. Good. And you?
I like backwards compatibility. It's
true. You, Holtz, what game stands out to you?
So once again, I have to go with Immortals. Just that game is a game that I've been looking forward to for the last few months. So I'm glad that it's only a few months away. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I can get through all my fall games and fire up. And the problem with Immortals that I'm finding now, because we compare like Breath of the Wild, is that there's actually a Hyrule Warriors game come out for the Switch, which is 100 years before Breath of the Wild in December. So I don't want to clash interest thinking, I've actually got a Zelda game and I've actually got this game. So that's the game I'm looking forward to.
Cool. Yeah, mine definitely has to be the Riders Republic, and hopefully that lives. I think it's going to be absolute mayhem. There's a game that came out for the PlayStation 3 launch. It was called Mortal Storm. I don't know if people still remember that game, but this kind of gives me that same vibe, and so it's just crazy mayhem. So I'm really excited to see how that all plays out. So we're gonna move over to GeForce Now news. Duncan, are you there? I see that your screen is off. Are you still there?
I can see him.
Hold on 1 second. You there, Duncan?
I am here. Yes,
Okay.
I don't know why you don't see me. I think
Now
everybody else can.
see you. Yeah, I can see you now. What game stands out to you out of this Ubisoft event that happened?
The game which stood out to me was Phoenix Rising. I'm just really excited about that. But it's like I said earlier when we were discussing it, it's the game I'm just going to hold fire on. But the surprise one was Steep 2, whatever that's called again, the Riders Republic. Steep rebranded slightly. But I wasn't a big fan of Steep. And that game is actually, I'm really, really intrigued. And if Stadia gets the 50 people available, now that is going to absolutely go nuts for crowd play. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I am also looking forward to playing Prince of Persia, which I just want to see how that is going to do as well.
Cool. Again, a lot of great games was announced at this event, and people seem excited to want to play these games. I feel like Ubisoft makes good games, so it's pretty cool to see a lot of these games coming to Google Stadia. All right, so we're going to move to GeForce Now. 10 games was announced. They announced a new feature called Arsenal. Didn't know if any of you guys tested this feature yet, but just want to talk to the panel, see what y'all's take are on the GeForce Now news. Another one to add to this is Stream Sync, also now is available on Chromebooks. So to get started, Jared, what's your take on the GeForce Now news for this week?
Yeah, I've used Ansel on my PC quite a bit to get cool photos. It's a cool way to get like thumbnail photos you wouldn't normally get just from when you're playing the game or whatever. And same thing for GeForce Now. So I did test it on there. I didn't get real deep into it, but on my news video, I actually have like a 10-second clip in there of like just showing it going around the shark, how you can move around the whole world and stuff like that.
Nice.
And take your picture. So I think that feature is awesome. For me, it's better than the highlights feature. I don't really use that, but there are plenty of people that really like that feature. But for me, this is one that I really like because I could be playing somewhere, especially like a more gorgeous game like Assassin's Creed or something, and you can really go out and zoom out and move around and get really cool pictures. So I think for content creators and people that just like to do that, it's really cool. Steam Sync is great. I don't have a Chromebook yet, but I know you do, so you've probably tested it on there. I don't know if it's working smoothly or not. Okay. I had a little trouble with mine on PC at first when it launched, but I've got it working great now. I want to see that coming for Epic and Uplay as well. I want to see a list where I just click one button and they all go and sync. That would be really, really good, at least a step in the right direction. Games, at least they got new releases again. So I know there's quite a few people that actually really like Star Renegades. It's not something I've had time to check out, but it's another day and date release for GeForce Now, which just seems to keep happening. And we got Endless Space 2 back again, which was a nice, just nice to see anything come back when it's gone. I know we're going to be losing a little batch as well, but from what I can tell, that list, it doesn't affect me. Like I've said before, for GeForce Now, I'm more interested in the Forward, even though I love backwards compatibility games and stuff like that. I'm more interested to see us moving forward with them and what next gen games are going to be looking like, because as we were just mentioning, I have a lot of concern about Stadia and Shadow being able to keep up with Xbox, Sony, and GeForce with RTX 3000 and then their servers. There's just so much going on for next gen that those two services out of all of them scare me the most for not being able to keep up with what's going to be going on. So, but really another good week for GeForce. I like that photo feature.
Cool. How about you, Duncan? What's your take on the GeForce Now news for this week?
Yeah, and the shadow drop of Avengers yesterday as well, which
talk about that.
Which was a bit unexpected, but I want to play about with the photo thing of whatever it's called, the Ansel feature. I'm awful with names. I can barely remember what my name is. Never mind any of these sort of things. But I'm looking forward to trying that out, and I can't wait till some of this stuff goes on to the Amphibious Shield, because I still want some of that stuff through like your recordings and all that, because or maybe it's already there and I have to work it out because I've only started playing about with that, but I want that on there so I can start sharing it there. The Steam Sync coming to Chromebooks, that's just another nice, easy step to make things nice and easy. And with the games coming, if we're just skipping the Avengers, what I do like the continued trend of the Epic games. The Epic free games are basically lining up and going straight to GeForce Now, which is amazing because you just build up your library really, really quickly, and you don't actually have to spend any money to do it. And again, did anybody else notice what was coming back to the platform? It's more Sega games. So there we go. So Sega seems to be back on board. So I'm really GeForce Now is killing it. I think at this moment in time, even though we're losing some of them games, they are just going forward. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Some of the games I'm playing in GeForce Now are playing better than they are playing in Stadia. And I would love to see a comparison for Avengers. I'm not sure if you guys have done one yet.
It's coming. Chief is that's why he's not on here right now. He's actually working on it.
I think he hit me up earlier and I couldn't actually do it because my Discord messages aren't coming through. But I really want to see a comparison to see if that is how Avengers is in that.
Right. No, that was I was hearing the comments, people like, wait, Avengers is out for GeForce Now? When did that happen? Yeah, it's a thing, and it is available for GeForce Now. I forgot to add that. So might as well say 11 games was released for GeForce Now this week, and Avengers is one of those games. How about you, Hots? What's your take on the GeForce Now news?
I'm totally happy that more features are coming to GeForce Now, but for me, I don't care about taking photos. I am just literally not interested. I just want to play my game. I'm the type of game that accidentally clicks a button, goes into photo mode, and go, why is my character not moving and only panning around the camera? So it frustrates me more, but I don't want to show off all these photos from the games I play. And I can't use the sync option because I don't have a Chromebook, but it's also great just to have your library up to date, even if to add or remove games. I mean, the only game that I was interested in seeing in that list was Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. I mean, that's the only game that I actually own. It's like a 2D side scroller of Assassin's Creed. It's quite simple. It's not, you still get assassinations and there's some lovely backdrops. I wouldn't say it's a very interesting game, but it's all right what I actually own. But I did have a little look at the two Epic games, like what was it called, Where the Water Tastes Like Wine and that Railway. But I'm not really interested in tycoon games, tycoon style games, and I just don't think I've got time to play that game. So I didn't really actually claim them on the Epic Store. But it's good that it's padding other people's libraries out if that's what they want.
True. I have to get better at claiming those games. I have a hard time remembering to go claim those games. But yeah, okay, good take. So overall, just GeForce Now, I feel like the panel's right on. It's been killing it, and it looks like they've been consistent with just adding same-day release games as PC, and also just continue to add some features. And I think Jerry was saying, out of all the cloud game platforms, you are not too concerned about GeForce Now advancing or GeForce Now competing with next gen, because again, we know that the next Ampere graphics card is coming. And that's exciting if you are a GeForce Now member, right? The fact that you're only paying $5, and in a way you're future-proof to continue playing great games in the cloud.
Right. And something else to think about there too as well. Ampere coming to GeForce Now is more going to give us the ability to go 1440p and 4K.
Yes.
Right now on one of their 2080 server rigs, you're already next gen. With the specs of the next consoles and with ray tracing and everything, there's going to be things they do faster with their RAM speed and their SSD speeds and things like that. But as far as the graphical capabilities, like I did my Avengers gameplay video last night for GeForce Now, maxed out the settings and turned off motion blur, and I'll watch Chief's video because I'm probably not going to have time to do a comparison video, but my God, Stadia is nowhere near running the game like GeForce Now, not even close. And I'll probably play the game on there like crazy. But so, yeah, I'm not worried about them because they already kind of are next gen. And when they upgrade again, it's just going to take us to those next levels of resolution that everybody wants. And they're going to keep killing it. I mean, they don't have to take cloud gaming seriously, but they are. And where they've come from February to now, it's just the games are running so well and the streaming is getting so much better.
Right. And I keep saying this, but I feel like out of all of the cloud gaming platforms of service out there, GeForce Now feels like one of the ones that are taking feedback and actually doing something about the feedback that they're getting. Again, if they can get those games that the left, the AAAs, the Activision Call of Duties, the GTAs, trust me, by now they would. Again, that's where the opt-in program comes from, but they're doing the best that they can, and they're listen to feedback and trying to make this the best cloud gaming platform or service. And like Jerry was saying, they don't have to, right? They have other things that generates them income, but the fact that they choose into is pretty cool to see. All right, so we're gonna anything else with GeForce Now news. I want to hop into xCloud or Game Pass, game streaming, because man, we have some stuff to talk about here.
But
So just jump in if there's some GeForce Now stuff.
I was going to say I'm not happy with the shadow drops with Avengers. I wish they told us in advance that it was coming to GeForce Now, because it would give me the more options where I go, should I buy it on Steam? Can I play it on this? Do I have the upgrade options? Because I look at like the consoles and go, okay, I could have got a free PlayStation 5 upgrade, or do I want instant access on Stadia, or what would, and all I wanted was the option to say, if I was considering GeForce Now, then I know where the game direction was going to go with the upgrades in a few months.
True. I agree 100%. I mean, we were debating like what platform should we, Chief and I, pick this up on. And one of the reasons why I didn't pick it up for Steam, he did, but was the fact that it wasn't coming to GeForce Now. Now, if I would have known, I would have been like, oh, well, hey, I would, rather push this in Steam because that gives me access to play it on GeForce Now and Shadow. But yeah, I wish they would have announced that a lot sooner, for sure. Let us know. Again, it'll be nice to know what the procedure is with these games. How soon do they know what's coming, what's not coming? Again, we're trying to get an interview here with them, and I think some of these questions would be good ones to answer for sure. But let's move to xCloud news. Just so much to talk about. So if you guys haven't heard, the Xbox Series S, not XS, has officially been confirmed. It was pretty interesting because there was an interview with a YouTuber where the CEO of the Xbox gaming division was being interviewed. And if you look to the right side, you can actually see the Xbox is kind of like an Easter egg Series S hidden there. But again, this is exciting because there's a program called Xbox Access. And now with Xbox Access, you get 24 months of Game Pass Ultimate, paying $24 a month for that. So pretty much it's like financing. You get in the plan, you pay $24 a month, and then you get 24 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is absolutely insane if you think about that, because Game Pass on its own is really, really expensive. So just want to talk to the panel about just other things we're going to cover. But what's your take on that deal? Start off with Jerry.
Yeah, this was one of the best weeks for me this year for Xbox announcements for what they dropped. And I know they were kind of pressured to do this because the leaks were just starting to come out with the Series S and the pricing schemes. And so they were like, you know what, screw it. They threw out a tweet, and then, they had videos come out. IGN had in-depth looks and what are you going to get compared to the Series X and S and all this kind of stuff. So it's just like the flood of, like, you knew they were ready because all those videos were ready. I mean, it's just boom, over 48 hours, they just pressed the button, go, forget it. Because everyone was waiting, right? Waiting for Sony, waiting for whoever. And I don't even think Xbox needed to wait this long, because honestly, the deal that they're offering for the $299 to $499, when you look at the specs and what you're going to get, it's insane.
Yeah.
To build a PC to compete with either of these machines, very expensive to do.
Yeah.
And this deal of 25 a month or 35 a month, granted the credit check, just like with a cell phone or anything else,
True.
is so good for so many people. And I pay $15 a month for Game Pass Ultimate. So for
Right.
$10 more a month, I can have a Series S sitting there, or for 20 more a month,
Exactly.
I can have a Series X sitting there.
Exactly.
So they're coming at so many different price points, so many different ways for people to purchase the consoles, and even places like Best Buy and GameStop and them are going to offer this $25 and $35 a month thing too, that you can apply through that. So it's not going to just be through them, and for everybody, it's going to start September 22nd. So for those pre-orders, so I'm leave out some of the other stuff we're going to talk about, but yeah, I'm just blown away by the value of what you can get and the deals and the ways they're offering for people to get their hands on these.
Right. True. How about you, Duncan? What's your take on this deal?
They absolutely killed it with this. I've been very vocal, and I have got a little feedback from the community, and they weren't too happy about it with this. And I'm not sure if anybody else knows, Stadia's marketing team also thought it was a killer deal. One of their marketing executives said, "How can you go wrong with it?" So that will just tell you how good of a deal this is. And I am not making this up, by the way. The tweet is still out there in the Twitterverse.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, I think this is amazing. Over here in the UK, for basically, or probably the same over there, basically double your Stadia subscription, you get access to the Series S and all them games, all the EA games, and you don't have to worry about what games are coming to your service, and you've also got access to xCloud as well. I'm telling you now that deal, the Series S it's going to get kids, or although the kids are going to get that under their Christmas tree this year because of the absolute value of it. So yeah, I think Xbox killed it this week, and I can't wait what happens on Wednesday and see what the counter is.
Right. I know for me personally, I was not going to pick up a Series S, but I am now. Just it's a no-brainer for what you get. I'm more interested in getting Game Pass Ultimate for 24 months. But Host, what's your take on this, man?
Well, I've always wanted that all access to come to the UK, because I've seen America's always had it for a while now. And given the flexibility for people, I think it's a great idea. Right. And I think the two companies that are doing it around here, we've got Game and Smiths, which are big, huge stores. You know, I mean, superstores, and Game's the leading store. So I think they're going to financially back the credit check and then give you and just to have different points of entry for the S or the X plus with Game Pass, I think it's I think it's a win for everyone. Right. Well, not for everyone, because personally, I'm not one of them people, because I sort of went the cheats way. I sort of went 3 years Xbox Live and upgraded for £1. So I paid, So I created a new account because I thought I'll give the kids the X, last gen, and they can sort of have the Ultimate on their users. I set it as home, and then I'll have it for the Series X or the S if I get it, and I'll have access to the cloud. So in the end, I'm saving money, plus I'm getting an extra year of Game Pass. But not everyone can do that, so it's just great if they want the financial option, they get the better deal for them.
True. Awesome. So let's talk about the big announcement, right, with EA coming to Game Pass. I mean, geez, we're talking about 100 games already plus that you're going to begin. We're talking about you're going to begin same day release, Microsoft first party. That alone is big, right? And then you get some pretty cool third party games coming to Game Pass, and these rumors that Microsoft is actually trying to target same day release for third party games coming to Game Pass. But this whole announcement of EA coming to Game Pass, what's your take on this? We'll start with Jerry.
Oh, I think it's great, because I've been paying for EA Access for years, which is EA Play. You've got the vault of games. You usually have it used to be a 10-hour trial of new games, but they've started changing a lot of that in recent time. But you do still usually get some kind of access to newer games. Battlefront 2 was one of the ones on there that they cut you off at certain point in the campaign, even if you didn't burn the time. But it's really good. And we always say on here, like, how many more things can they stack onto Game Pass and still say, but it's $14.99. Don't worry about it. And my answer is forever. It's freaking Microsoft. As long as they have Windows and everything else going on in Office, I mean, it doesn't matter. And adding EA Play, I was excited. I texted my buddy and I was like, hey, don't re-up your $30 a year EA access because EA Play is going to be included with your Game Pass Ultimate. And he was like, wow, great. So we've got 100 Game Pass games on PC, over 250 Game Pass games on console, and now we're adding all those Vault games as well to that. So what we say it every week that Xbox Microsoft offers the best value in gaming, and I wouldn't have imagined this. So this kind of news also blew me away.
Right. So let me, I guess, ask another question to this. Do you feel like we'll see them approach other companies like Ubisoft to get Uplay Plus on Game Pass?
I think eventually you're going to see all of these companies that have these subscription plans do something with everybody, but when is it going to happen and what's it going to look like? Like, everybody's waiting for Uplay on Stadia, but we said many times they'll never put all of the Uplay games that we pay for on PC on Stadia because you can't backwards compat and port all those games. It would take them freaking generations to do that. But new games, like certain games for a couple of years old and whatever they have ready, and then of course every new game could be included with that with your subscription. So I think it'll be included with Microsoft, with Stadia. I think all these companies will just kind of be around, but will Microsoft be the only one that keeps including it for that price? Because I doubt Stadia is going to say $10 a month for Pro, great, and we're including Uplay for same. I don't see that happening, but we'll have to see, because right now Xbox just keeps killing it with the value for gamers. I mean, I think everybody pretty much sees that, even if you're not a fan of Xbox.
Right. True. Okay, Duncan, what's your take on this?
Yeah, it's basically, well, he was saying there, all the big companies will be introducing this in some aspect. I'm telling you that Uplay Plus is not just going to Stadia; it is going to Xbox. It's nailed on to going to Xbox, and it's just when it's going. It might take a bit longer to hit PlayStation because they seem to be a bit more conservative that way, where they take things a bit more slowly. But it's definitely hitting Xbox, and I would not be surprised if it hits at the same time. And it's going to be better value on Xbox and this adjusted price because you've got all them generations of games ready to go. You cannot beat the value proposition with Game Pass and with the rumors circulating, as people have said in the chat there about Cyberpunk. Them rumors died down, but they seem to be back on the table now because apparently Microsoft are going around splashing the cash to get games day one. So do not be surprised now if Cyberpunk is day one on Game Pass, because that is where they are going. They are going to be a complete services company, and it's just madness what they're doing. Just want to touch slightly on the Series S as well. I believe that is going to be their cloud device. They're using that to get people into the cloud, and it's like their halfway house. Maybe next year when they upgrade to the Series X, you might actually be able to play Series X games through the S, and that will take away some of the issues with the smaller hard drive space as well. So there's just, I think they're going to be really ones to watch here in the next six months or so to see how this all pans out before the xCloud stuff.
Yeah. My biggest thing still with xCloud is I hope they, just update the performance and give us higher resolution. But I think with Series X or S, when they update the blades next year, right, they'll be able to do that. But that's a good point with, them marketing the Series S as like their cloud gaming platform service. Cool. Yeah, crazy, man. A lot happening with Game Pass and Xbox. But how about you, Holtz? What's your take on this?
Oh, I love EA Access. I was a big fan of it. And what this has done now, bringing the Game Pass, it's made me think, should I buy FIFA 21 on Stadia? Because now I've got it on Game Pass, I can think about it. I can wait 7 months for FIFA. And I've just saved at least $60, £60. And if I want to buy it, at least I can buy it on Xbox now, and I get like a 10% discount now because I'm an EA Play member. So it makes the game cheaper. And then also with that, when I said about family sharing and all that, now if I do that and I do pick up the game, my family members will be able to play at the same time. So I'll have 2 accounts to be able to play the same membership. So I've at least got someone to play with on this. So, and we're all big EA fans here. We love Mass Effects. We love the Need Speeds. We love all the Battlefronts and stuff like that. So it's welcome to see these big, huge titles come to Game Pass. Because usually with Game Pass titles, I'm like, not really interested. But with EA, at least something I can sort of rave about.
True. Big win for EA and Game Pass overall. Cool. So I think we covered all of xCloud news. Again, if I'm missing something here, someone feel free to just jump in. But again, killer week, like Jerry was saying, man. This is, if you are into cloud gaming as a whole, this is just wow.
I'm curious if Duncan, because he's going to have more insight than me, but I have seen a few videos of guys who are sponsored by Microsoft, and I've read some rumor articles out there, but they're technically supposed to be true, that xCloud streaming, Game Pass, whatever, will be on PCs and it will be on the next gen consoles this year. And when they release that, it will be at least 1080p. They're just finishing getting things ready for that, if not higher on some of the consoles. Have you heard anything about that as well?
I have heard 100% PC. It's coming to PC, and I have heard that it is 1080p. And I have heard that the testing is there for the 4K as well. I haven't heard anything official about the consoles, but I think it's a safe enough bet, and that it's going to come on and be like PlayStation Now, where you can maybe try it out and then buy it or just download it. I think that's a safe one to actually go for. But I can point you to articles to say, yeah, it's 100% coming to PC, and it's actually been tested since I think February, March time on PC.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I thought. And coming to the consoles will be great too, because like you said, instant demos, or with hard drive space being an issue, they'll say, hey, you could stream a game, and if you download it, you'll get the full experience, but you could stream it and play it this way as well. So I think that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's why I think the Series S is actually like a stealth sort of.
For sure.
It's trying to bridge people in between the two, and then saying, "Oh, you can actually play this now," and get people weaned off the full console experience.
Cool.
True. Yeah. So 1080p PC support. Hopefully, that's a thing that really happens this year for sure. Again, I feel like that's just going to make xCloud or Game Pass game streaming more enticing and exciting. Cool. All right. So we're going to move on to Shadow. So I'm going to be doing something different. I'm going to be splitting it between Shadow and maximum settings, which are pretty similar. But the reason I'm doing this is because every week you guys hear us say there's no news for Shadow, and it's the same thing today. There's still no news for Shadow. But what I like to do here is just get the panel's take on the experience with Shadow for the week. What games have they been playing, and how has the experience been? And then we'll do that for maximum settings as well. So to get started, Holtz, what's your take with Shadow? Have you even touched it or played it?
So this week I've been playing all on Shadow. I've been playing Game Pass via for Shadow, so it still counts. So I've been playing Tell Me Why, The Sky of Four, and Dark Crystal, and I've been playing it on my iPad Pro, and I've been walking around the house, and everyone's like, "Whoa, that game looks gorgeous!" And I'm like, "It's a cloud PC," and everyone's like, "Whoa, it looks so good!" And you got Xbox on it, and I'm like, "Yeah." So it was a big thing to flaunt off, like to say, because my friends haven't seen it on the iPad. But I sort of had a few issues this week. It just kept on looping updates for me, and then every time it just feels a bit sluggish. The boot up feels sluggish. I don't know if it's closing down properly or it's just my client this time, but it has been slow this week. But I tried it on the Apple 4K TV box and it ran flawless. So it just seemed to get better for me this week. So it was good to get back into Shadow.
Good. Yeah, like I stated before, playing Xbox Game Pass games and Shadow, I just heard, and maybe people in the panel, but the pricing for Game Pass PC games are going to be increasing. I just heard. I don't know if that's accurate. Right now it's $5, but I think they said it's going to go up to $10. I don't know if you guys heard that, but I was going to say one of the best ways to play your Game Pass games is using Shadow, because again, you get higher resolution, better frame rates, and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool to hear that you are using
But I
Shadow
really wanted to play Flight Simulator, and I just still couldn't get that to work on
on
Shadow via
Shadow.
through Game Pass.
Hmm.
It was just every time I was, trying to install it and I walk away, Shadow was shutting itself down. Then every time I was loading the game back up, I was losing all the packing information. Then I had to re-download, and I was like, oh, it's not even worth the hassle. So hopefully,
Wow.
if xCloud does come out, I hope Flight Simulator is part of the package.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think, is it available for streaming right now for Game Pass streaming? I can't remember. Maybe not. Maybe it's only for PC. But yeah, I hope, right? September 15th, that's 3 days from today. Game Pass should Ultimate Game Streaming should officially be released. So we'll see in 3 days.
understand there's issues in the world, but that 256 gigabytes doing my head in. I literally need more storage. I've been waiting for months patiently, but now with all
Yeah.
these 4 games, I'm like, okay, I might not have the graphics increase, but at least I need a bit of storage.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna talk about my experience with Shadow Maximus and in a bit, but I want to hear from Holtz. What not Holtz, Jerry, what's your take on Shadow? What have you been playing? Have you been using it at all this week?
Similar to Holtz, I've been using it on iOS a good bit because other than maximum settings with Moonlight and now with some workarounds, it's the easiest way to play on iPhone or iPad or Apple TV. I've also, I used to have a horrible experience on my Apple 4K TV, but since the last couple of updates and them kind of fixing a lot of that, it was working really well. I played Avengers last night on GeForce Now, on NVIDIA Shield, and on Apple TV, and I recorded none of it. And that's kind of disappointing because it was really cool and it ran so well. So I've
Nice.
been using Shadow for a lot. I know we always say, Shadow's going to bottleneck. Shadow CPU's getting too old. When will they upgrade and all of this? But truth be told, the system is still really good. When it doesn't give you boot up problems or anything like that, they still offer one of the best cloud PC experiences as a whole. And all these new games that are coming out, no, you're not going to put them on ultra settings like they used to advertise, but you're
Right.
still going to be able to play them all, even if you got to crank some
Yeah.
things down or do whatever there. So I'm still a huge fan of Shadow. It's hard to recommend it sometimes because you got to tell people you got to wait months, but I still
Yeah.
have a lot of people in the community saying, hey man, I signed up anyway. I'll get it in
Yeah.
December. I'll get it in January. It looks fun. So yeah, I've been using it a lot on iOS and playing Avengers and Fall Guys and stuff with it. I didn't have any of the problems anybody else. I know a lot of people had problems this week, not just you guys, like loads of people. My Shadow won't start. It's stuck. I couldn't get it to work on my phone at all. And I went over to my PC, booted up Shadow. It worked right away. And then I ended that stream, went and booted up on my phone, and boom, no problem. I was right on. So that for me was like a quick fix. I just go to a PC and start it up, and then I go back to my iOS device, and then it would work. So it might be a workaround if somebody's having that trouble.
Cool. Good to know. Good to know. How about you, Duncan? What's your take on Shadow this week? Have you been playing it?
I've been playing it a wee bit, and like Holtz, I've had some issues getting into it, but it's working as normal. I think everybody knows the limitations and the positives and the limitations of Shadow. I've just been playing the normal stupid wee games on it every so often, which aren't that demanding. So I've got this big, powerful PC, and I'm playing Slay the Spire on it, or something stupid like that. So yeah, I have had some issues doing the B thing and updating, constantly updating, but bar that, it's been fine.
Okay.
But I had one issue that I want to point out. I thought this week, I was like, yes, I'm going to get a HDMI adapter for my iPad, and I'm going to plug it in to think I can move everywhere I go now with Shadow and just plug it into everyone's telly. But every time I plug the HDMI into my iPad, it'll the telly will display the iPad screen, and every time I load Shadow comes on my telly, but then on my iPad it shuts it down to the home screen. But so then I can't use my inputs. I can't use my keyboard, mouse, or it just switches the Bluetooth stuff off. And I'm like, oh, well, that's weird.
Interesting.
Huh. So if people that think, oh, I can plug a HDMI and walk around my devices, it doesn't work for me at the moment.
Huh. Bummer, but good to know for the people in the panel for
It's a
sure.
good chance. Maybe that's why they hurried up and got the Bluetooth keyboard and mouse support out,
Oh,
because
yeah.
when you plug that in, you do tend to lose that. You'll lose that screen. So
True. Anyone, just what I've been playing in Shadow, same thing. Tell me why, if you guys haven't checked out that game. It's pretty cool. It's Xbox Game Pass exclusive type of game. So again, if you have Shadow, you can play your Game Pass games on there. So I've been using my Shadow to play that. And man, the story's it's pretty good. It's kind of like a Telltale type of game, like not Left 4 Dead, Walking Dead type Telltale story driven narrative game. So yeah, it's been fun, and it ran pretty well. So let's talk about maximum settings though, and see if anyone on this panel has tried it and what your experience has been with max settings. So Holt, have you tried max settings yet?
The only thing I've tried of it is trying to get on it. I can't subscribe to it. Every time I try and subscribe to it,
Yeah.
it's just the waiting list. So if they can drop me a line or people on Discord when it actually is going to go live, I would really like to test it, because I was speaking to Chief the other day and he said, it ran great. And, so hopefully I'll have the same experience if I could try.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Duncan? Have you tried max settings?
I have not as yet. I can't justify it at this moment. I know it's a pay as you go, but I just got too many things going on at the moment.
Yeah.
I just can't keep up, so I haven't actually given it a try yet.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Jerry? Have you tried max settings?
yeah, I still use it a ton. So the positive for me here where I'm at too is I'm at like 31 millisecond latency. And then on top of that, with Moonlight directly connecting into NVIDIA game streaming, it's just like I said, it's one of those services that even beats Shadow for me with latency, which is really hard because I'm usually 15 milliseconds to 25 milliseconds on their little app with Shadow. But because of the way Moonlight ties into those builds, it still just feels a lot quicker. Like I can play Call of Duty way better on maximum settings than I can on Shadow just because of that. And it just makes it really easy. And on top of that, storage. So I've been installing games ever since. I think I have 3 builds for them now that I work: the 5700 XT, the 2080 Super, and the 1080. And so between all of those, that's like 10, 12 gigs of storage when you add it all together, and 3.5 gigs on the higher build. So I've been installing games for a couple months since I started testing the service, and I haven't uninstalled anything yet. I just keep on going until I don't. So that's one of their big things. The next gen tech is there with 2080 Supers, 5700 XTs, 3900X processors and stuff like that. And I already know they're planning on buying batches of new stuff this fall and offering, higher tier builds as well, and next gen stuff pretty quickly. So as far as signing up, you got to join their Discord and watch every day. It's like refreshing to order an RTX 3000. You got to sit there and they'll announce it like minutes to an hour before it goes live, and then you've got minutes to go get on the site, and they'll sell out of what they have. But they're trying to grow at a pace that they can maintain quality control and not have issues with the service and things like that. They are technically still in beta. They are not a fully launched service yet, but they're definitely one of the best cloud PC services I've used.
Yes, and like you were saying, I love the fact that they're not just open up everything. Anyone can come in. They're very restrictive because they don't want to run into the same situation that Shadow's having right now, to where they can't fulfill all of the orders that they're getting. So yeah, it's kind of a bummer that you have to go on the Discord and keep hitting that refresh and waiting to get the go to sign up for it. But yeah, it's a really good experience overall. Same thing with Jerry, man. Chief Chief I was talking to Chief about, I don't see him using shadows. Like, what's going on? Why don't you use shadow as much anymore? And he's like, because of max settings. So it's like, is it that good? It's like, trust me, is once you try it, it's gonna be hard to go back to shadow. It's like, yeah, that's crap. So
And that's funny because he's at like 100 to 150 millisecond ping from over there. And I was like, oh, that's going to be unplayable. But for him, he says because of the way Moonlight works with NVIDIA, he feels like it's almost like Shadow or better for him. I'm like, wow, that's insane to me. I mean, I know how good it feels at 31 or 32 here, but I couldn't believe he said 100 to 150 and it still feels that good to him. And that's that's saying a lot because
Yeah.
they do have server coming, hopefully by the end of this year for EU though. But we'll see. We'll see when they get that launched. That'll be good too because then they'll get to expand a little bit more. But
Right. So I'm at 180. And we were joking, there's no way I can ever run that at 180. And
Right.
I have to tell you, hands down, and I'm not making this up, but I was playing Rogue on there, Rogue Company, and my experience was better than Geforce Now. And I'm
That's
not
crazy,
even
yeah.
making that up. It's just it's been a great experience. I'm not a big fan of the pay-as-you-go subscription model, but I do have to say, it's a great alternative to Shadow if you guys are waiting to get in. It works, and it works really, really well. Cool. Anyone else want to add to max settings? If not, we have a lot of time left. We can cut it short, but I do want to something fun I like doing is just asking the panel, where they are right now with cloud gaming and which platform they think still has the advantage. So we'll probably do that, but I do want to tell you guys in the comments, people who are watching, if you have questions, now's the time to ask because we have about a good 30 minutes to answer them. So, but I do want to check in with you guys. Has your mind changed with who do you think is going to end up top with seeing the move that Nvidia has been making lately and the move that Microsoft has been making and also Stadia? Who do you guys think is the best when it comes to cloud gaming, and who do you guys think is going to end up at the top? So we can start with you, Holtz. What's your take on this?
Well, at the moment, I'm still really enjoying Stadia. All my fall games are going to be on Stadia at least, But at the moment now, because I've got Game Pass, I'm walking around with Game Pass, playing all games that I've owned in the past, but I've got the option to play them now on my iPad. And now they're bringing the likes of FIFA and all that. I did say whoever brings FIFA at a reasonable price, I will be addicted to walking around with my tablet. So if Microsoft can up the graphics, give me games that I really like Forza, Gears of War, now FIFA and stuff like that, I think they're going to be in a great situation for me to really consume. So at the moment, I am all up for Stadia, but I think that could easily change quick. Because all this news that we've got is just really shocked me. So
yeah. Okay. So I'm getting he's still for Stadia, but there's been a lot of excitement in the cloud gaming space that your mind can change based on what the outcome is with.
And then even though I'm using like Shadow, there's a service booster right now that's going to open a London data center. So now, because they're open in London data, the more I hear these cloud services come to my own country, it's making me go, okay, do I really need that service now? So I'm sort of in the air now with what services I need going forward.
True. Okay. How about you, Duncan? Who do you have taking it all?
Taking it all.
Yeah.
I still will go back to my Tencent comment from a couple of months ago. But with the competitors out here at this moment in time, I'm sticking with Xbox, but I think this could change on Wednesday. I think we may get a tease of the next version of PlayStation Now on Wednesday.
Why Wednesday?
The PlayStation conference is on Wednesday.
See, I've been on the loop. Is the PlayStation conference on Wednesday?
Yeah, it's 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock Pacific. It's 9 o'clock. I've got my maths right here. It's 9 o'clock our time, UK. So that's 1 o'clock Pacific.
Ooh, that's exciting.
So it may change from there because we have seen some of the patents for PlayStation and what they're messing about with cloud. But at this moment in time, with everything going, it's Xbox because the moves they keep doing, and you can see that they're invested into the Xbox all the time just with this EA. Stadia, I'm just a bit concerned that they are maybe treading water somewhat and they just need to start moving. And the next issue, I don't think is going to be going away for a while yet until everybody starts making or considering Stadia a big platform going forward.
Okay. How about you, Jerry? What's your take? Who do you
what
think
I think is so interesting about this is that, and I was going to say the same thing as Duncan, it's really hard to answer this until seeing what Sony does, because there's so many rumors about what's going to happen to PS Now. And even going into like January, February of this year, they were talking about PS Now is getting a relaunch this year when the consoles come out. It's going to be 1080p or higher. They're going to get good with the cloud. They're going to have all their exclusives on there, try to compete with Xbox. I don't know what all the deals are going to be. They're not going to catch up to Xbox on value with one conference, I don't think, but they could definitely change the talking game when it comes to the cloud gaming services and what they're going to offer with their exclusives and stuff. Because even though we know exclusives are going to come to PC, that's not going to be day and date release and every single one of them or anything like that off the bat. So I find it really interesting that the two top cloud services we're talking about happen to be two top console makers for the past how many years as well. So the gaming guys are sounding like the ones that are going to get the cloud thing going before anyone else, because Stadia is our wonderful console in the cloud that, like Duncan was just saying, and all of us say, when's Gen 2? Now, if Ben was right earlier and they're going to stealth drop Gen 2 in November for their 1 year, great. I would not be surprised from Google for us to wake up one day and start playing Gen 2 and we never knew it was coming. But that would be horrible. What a missed opportunity for hype and marketing. So if they were going to drop a Gen 2 this year and compete with all of the other consoles and cloud gaming graphics cards and stuff, man, I would want to see some serious marketing and hype for that to let people know ahead of time. But yeah, Xbox, for me, gaming platform in general, are killing it right now. I don't know what's going to happen Wednesday, but I don't think it's going to change that a whole lot. I say the same thing all the time. I want to see Stadia succeed big time. I want to see ray tracing on Stadia and all this kind of stuff come. But they're saying like Cyberpunk coming to Stadia, yeah, and I just can't get excited about that because it's going to look so freaking gorgeous on my Xbox or on my PC that I'm not going to. Seeing how Avengers played for me and Breakpoint when it came out on Stadia and stuff, I can't get excited about buying games over there. I test them, but as my personal gaming, it's getting hard to want to go play on Stadia, even though the experience there is really, really good.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Don't worry. When Cyberpunk launches everywhere else, we're going to be playing the Phoenix Rising demo.
Drop the mic there. But oh man, yeah, you make a good point with that, Jerry. What just why would you again? Geez, it always feels like we're bashing Stadia, but why would you play Cyberpunk on Stadia if you can play it somewhere that's offering 4K, ray tracing and a souped up, Ampere graphics card to go with that if Nvidia upgrades this year, or Xbox.
There's a lot more options for cloud gaming a year later than there was when Stadia launched. When they first launched, it was like they have it. You know what I mean? They've got it going on. But I've seen a year go by, and now we have so much more going on with Xbox and Geforce and all them. Like it's like, guys, you're gonna have to step it up if you're gonna keep up with the way everybody's going here.
And that is love. Again,
Exactly.
That is not us bashing Stadia. That is us saying, we know you can do better. We want you to do better. And that is, again, you guys think we're always beating up Stadia. We're not. We just want them to do better. Anyway, yeah, I agree with you 100%. Just, it's going to be difficult to play those AAA titles on Stadia when the competitors are offering better, performance and features.
But the only way I'll jump on PlayStation Now in the next few months is if they release and say, buy the membership, buy a digital version copy of a game, say Ratchet and Clank PlayStation 5, and you'll have access to it. The only way they're going to get me on board is they push PlayStation 5 cloud gaming.
Oh, absolutely.
If you say it's only going to be used for backwards compatible, that's great for a lot of people that have not played them games. But I've played these games like 25 years. It doesn't really interest me. Yeah. I need, it might not be the best graphics, but we'll give you up to 4K 30 FPS for Ratchet and Clank. That's what I want.
Yeah. Sony is, I feel like they are in the position that Microsoft was with the PS4 of it. We thought like Sony had it with that conference that they had where they showcased the games, but this card that Microsoft just pulled by offering the price way cheaper, offering the 24, 24-month financing, I feel like Sony's back is turned right now. They gotta do something. And then the Game Pass announcement, just offering all these amazing games for $15 a month. Sony has to respond. And so it's going to be pretty interesting to see what they do as say comes this Wednesday, because again, I feel like Microsoft is they have a lot of good things going for them. I guess let me ask this question to the panel since we have time. Do you think Sony is going to do something different? I mean, do you think they're actually going to try and compete with what Microsoft is doing right now with Game Pass and cloud gaming? We'll start with you, Duncan. What's your take on this?
No, because I don't have to. It's simple. They've got the games. They've got their games. They've got their studios. If they drop down, here's Uncharted 5. Here is God of War 2. How many people will go? Me, I'm taking that. It's yeah, that is where they are at this moment in time. So they're competing in completely different sort of arenas. Microsoft is going after value. I'm telling you now, even if Sony launched this at $600 and $500 for the digital, they will be sold out until next year because everybody will be out buying them. They are a complete different situation to Microsoft. They're trying to get back into the game, and Sony's winning at the moment.
So I don't know if you guys are familiar with just how things were with the PlayStation 2, right? One of Sony's most successful selling consoles, hands down. They got too prideful, right? And they offered the PlayStation 3 at $600 price point. You know, they put Blu-ray in it, put the cell processor, all these high tech. And at the end, people are like, I'm not shelling out $600 for this. I'd rather go pick up an Xbox 360, which was what, like $200 cheaper than what Sony was offering. Do you think, I get it, they have the greatest first party exclusives, but do you think they can get too arrogant to where that actually hurts them in the long run?
I don't think they're going to be arrogant. I think the pricing is there. It's clear to see where they're coming in. They're going $499 and $399. I think that's more or less nailed on now for their two different ones. I actually think the pricing has actually scared Stadia more than it's actually scared Microsoft or PlayStation with the Xbox Series S. I think that is just the value, and that was what one of the big selling points for Stadia was. It was going to be value. You can play your games for $100, but now it's the Series S is in spitting distance of that when you get the sales in next year. So I don't think Sony are playing a completely different sort of game at this moment. I don't think they're arrogant because I think they're just going to absolutely blow it out from the water on Wednesday here. And again, I don't think it's, as people are saying in the chat there, I don't think this is going to be a war, because in a couple of years' time, we're just going to jump on to whatever service we feel like. And I think sometimes we'll get too narrowed in that Xbox has to win or PlayStation has to win. It's going to be HBO, Netflix, Hulu. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
So you're not thinking that you're saying they don't have to do anything with cloud gaming. So you're not thinking that they are going to make like a cloud gaming announcement on Wednesday?
no, I think they are going to announce it. I think it's going to be announced. But I was just talking more about general the pricing and whatnot. But yeah, I think the cloud gaming is coming. I think it's going to be teasing a bit. I think it's going to be the 1080. It's going to be they're just going to up it a bit, and you'll be able to stream your PlayStation 5 games as well. I'm not sure how much further they're going to do. What I do want to see more of is that patent where that was state share. I want to see if that how baked in that is going to be in the PlayStation 5 experience.
Okay. How about you, Holtz? Do you think Sony will get crazy and make a competitor to Game Pass?
I really hope they do, because in my mind, I think gamers are going to jump ship to the new Microsoft console with this Game Pass. I think come Christmas, a lot of people are going to think, okay, my kid can't access the living room TV, but he will be able to play his games or 100 plus games on his tablet or phone. And I think people are going to say, well, we'll buy him this service, or we'll buy him this console for him. And I think it will worry Sony to say, oh, we've missed it there. I think they're arrogant at the moment, but I think Microsoft should keep on putting the pressure and maybe release a Game Pass Infinite, which is probably, EA Play Pro or Uplay Plus, and just keep on saying, look, we'll keep on adding more subscriptions, better value for the gamer. And I think that will shake Sony. And a lot of people sit there when they buy these new consoles, they're still going to joke around and say, but what exclusives are out for the PlayStation 5? They're still going to laugh at the games that are there, where there's going to be some gamers out there that are going, well, I've got this huge access to a big library through Game Pass. And I think that's what's going to worry Sony in case more people start thinking like that.
That's a great point. You see this with new consoles. I mean, Stadia experienced it when it released. There's hardly any games to play. But for Microsoft to be like, here you go, 100 games available for you to play instantly, and Sony trying to, I know there's going to be backlog, catalog, and they're going to try to get the backwards compatibility stuff going. But the truth of the matter is, right off the back, I feel like Microsoft has a huge advantage by having over 100 games to play on game. Go ahead, then.
I was going to say, I'm going to ask you this a question here. How many games are on PlayStation now?
What, they tout like 750, 800?
Yeah.
Something? Yeah.
If they all get upscaled to or not all of them can be upscaled because they're older games. So if they just get their tech up a bit more to the 1080p sort of thing, they're still well in the game. I think they don't really have to do, or it may sound stupid, but they don't have to do a lot to get them back in there. Because how many of them? They're not actually. We always criticize the PR of Stadia, how bad that is. With PlayStation Now, they're not actually advertising how good that service really is. The amount of games you can actually download, I think it's in and around the same number as Game Pass. You can actually download onto your PlayStation, and there are some amazing games there as well. Yeah. So I think they have a lot to do. They have to get that explained a lot better and out there.
I agree. I think come this Wednesday, again, Sony was one of the first people with PS Now, and they just fell behind. But who knows? Maybe why they've been so quiet is because they've been working on stuff, without and that would be a huge shock factor if they're like, all right, this is the new PlayStation Now. This is what we're doing. We're bringing our first party exclusives here. The price is going to rival competitors. And they give us a show in that, will make our jaw drop. And lately, I feel like that's what Sony's been doing. So who knows? I hope that's the case with the PlayStation Now, that they have been working on it and they have a lot to show. But what's your take on this, Jerry?
Holtz and Duncan are obviously making most of the good points on this. I will say just a couple of things. The $600 PS3, when that launched, is a little bit different than now. People will go spend $600 easily compared. Most of us used to buying these $1,000 phones. Right. And we don't really blink, as to where in 2006, 2007, and all of it. You told me I was going to spend that amount of money on a phone or do this. I'd be like, no. Now we don't really think about it. And I've heard a lot of people say, even if the PS5 was $800, they're going to sell out. Yes, they are. Just like even if the RTX 3080 was $1,000 or $1,200, guess what? It's going to sell out in hours or minutes of it going live. Either way, competition is my big thing. So I don't want everybody to offer the exact same thing. I do like seeing differences, and the more Sony and Microsoft compete, the better. The reason we're seeing a $299 Xbox and all this value is because of Sony. Exactly. Because of what happened during our 2013 Xbox One launch. It was horrendous. So you're seeing all that from competition. Sony is not going to go Intel and get complacent and completely screw up like Intel has with AMD, and they basically went to sleep, and AMD is now just destroying them. Nobody's going to build an Intel gaming PC for the next 2 years. It's just not going to happen until some other things happen. But Sony's not going to do that, and they're going to have some cloud gaming. But like Duncan was saying, they don't need a lot of cloud gaming, only a little bit, because we're all really plugged into cloud gaming. But there's a lot of people aren't. There's over 1 billion gamers worldwide, and they're going to buy that hardware. So everybody's going to do fine. I just like seeing all the competition, and I'm souped to see what they do on Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah. Again, Duncan, I'm gonna mark that down my calendar. I had no idea Sony had something coming up on Wednesday. But Jerry, to what you were saying, also when they launched the PlayStation 3 for 600, we're actually in a recession here in the US. So that also, people they're like, I'm not spending $600 when I don't know if I'm gonna have a job or money, to buy anything. So yeah, times are definitely different, and yeah, that might impact or make changes. But cool. So we're gonna look at some of y'all's questions on here, and I don't know if you guys were looking, if anything catches your eyes, just highlight it and point it out. But this is one that I'm seeing. Do you think xCloud is coming to iOS? Just recently, Apple, I don't know if you guys heard, but they kind of removed some of the restriction with cloud gaming, but Microsoft tweeted or said it's still not enough. I forgot what they are allowing now, but still, you can tell that they are not in full support of cloud gaming. So until that becomes a thing for them, I don't see this happening. But people on the panel, if you want to answer or add more to this, you can as well.
Well, at the moment, iOS needs to hurry up and allow more services to come to their platform, because I use my iPad, and it's not an old iPad, but it's still going strong. But in the future, when I buy a new tablet, if these cloud services are not on this platform, then I will not be buying an iPad going forward.
Right.
So, they could sell it. Oh, it comes with a pen. It's got this Retina display. The first thing I'll be asking is, does it have cloud support? So,
yeah. Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Again, if you are a cloud gaming supporter, that's something to consider moving forward, right? Knowing where they stand with cloud gaming. Are you gonna get an iPad knowing that you possibly might not be able to play your favorite cloud game platform on there? I know Chief is really eyeing the new Pixel, and he's been an iOS supporter for the longest, just because it's like I'm sick of waiting for Apple to make these service and platforms available. So it's going to switch. But yeah, it's just something to definitely consider for sure. Anyone else want to add to that question? If not, we can move to this. Pretty simple.
Okay, here's a conspiracy here. What happens if PlayStation Now is launched or talked about at the Apple conference on Tuesday? Would that be some good crack? Have we get that? And also, yeah, I with this latest update, is Apple just stalling for time? I'm not sure if people saying that they have actually patented cloud gaming.
Yeah.
So that may be coming to them, and I think this is just a stalling exercise until they work or figure out what their plans are.
Apple is very strategic, right? Everything they do, there's a reason behind it. And so maybe they are stalling because they're working on their own thing, or maybe they are working with Sony. But man, talk about breaking the internet when it comes to video games, man. If they can drop something saying they've signed an exclusive deal with Sony, I hope not, because I want to play that on my Android devices too. But man, that would be huge. That would be big. But just gotta wait and see what that looks like.
I mean, maybe they want cloud PCs on their tablet devices, because they make a killing through internal hard drive space, don't they? The price range between the tablets for internal hard drive, and they go, well, if we have a cloud, then they don't need hard drive space, so it'll affect our sales of our hardware. So maybe that's why they're knuckling down at the moment.
Wow. One to think about too. Man, the good thing about this podcast, man, it gets you thinking, man. Cool. So is Game Pass with xCloud 15 or 10? It's 15, correct? Everyone, right? 15.
There's no breakout alone, or no, you gotta have the ultimate, the whole
The
$15
ultimate.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same for EA Play and all that that's coming. You'll have to have
The
the full 15
$15
ultimate. Yeah.
ultimate. But the good thing with this is you are getting not just cloud gaming, but if you own an Xbox, right, you should be able to just use this on the Xbox, and then they're also going to be bringing the piece. So you getting three things in one.
And
For
most
50.
people forget you used to pay 10 to 15 a month just for gold, just to
Yeah,
access
true.
multiplayer. So I
So
mean, we've
true.
come a long way from that.
That is true. That is true. All right, so I'm looking, and let me see here. Any other questions? Also, what are your thoughts on people getting Stadia to run on iOS 14? So I've heard about this, but haven't really tested this. But yeah, I'm hearing that people are able to use. I don't know if it's the Safari browser. I thought it was a different browser in iOS to run Stadia, but there was some limitations. I forgot what it was. But any of you guys in the panel try this, and just what's your take on this? I haven't
Well,
tried it personally.
when I saw that was accessing Safari like Red Dead Redemption, I ran, loaded my tablet up, and I was just so disappointed when it didn't run. And I was like, "Ugh."
Yeah,
I want Stadia to be accessible through my
yeah.
iOS devices. It's one thing I really wanted, and if that does, if more native cloud apps come to my iOS device, I wouldn't need the likes of Shadow. So
True. Good point.
Yeah,
Good point.
just
Go ahead, Duncan.
I was just going to say, remember, this is just a beta, and that is why it's not working 100%, and that's why people don't have access to it. So we've only got a couple more months to wait anyway for when it comes out in full access. So I haven't actually tried it because I can be bothered getting the beta and all that sort of carry on. I don't want to mess things up. I'm getting more and more worry in my old age. So that's why I don't want to do that.
So it's using Safari to run Stadia? I haven't looked into this at all.
Yes, it is. And there is some issues with it. I think it's the sound doesn't work with it, if I remember right. So it's in beta, so I wouldn't read too much into it. But yeah, it does seem like it be working. And I think this was expected because they're changing Safari this year, and the codecs are changing, and they're adding the ones in. I'm not 100% on this, but as far as I remember, that's what they're doing for that one.
Good to know. Good to know. Jerry, any have you tried this? Any take on this?
No, I saw this, but no, a lot like Duncan, when it comes to messing around with my iOS and beta and stuff, I tend to try not to just jump in and mess around with it. But I'm hoping it's something that does actually work when it comes out, and it's not just something that's working now, but when we get to full release, it's just not there, or it's all locked out or something.
Right.
I don't trust Apple right now.
True. So Gandra says, I think a lot of people keep forgetting that Xbox and PlayStation have been at this for 25 years, and Stadia is still true. It's going to take time. Again, Jade Raymond already confirmed, right? It's going to take 5 years for us to see like a Breath of the Wild type exclusive for Stadia. So yeah, this stuff takes time. And don't forget, guys, Microsoft really struggled when they first came out. All they had going for them for a bit was just Halo and Xbox, and then eventually they caught up though. And even still, I would say that it wasn't until recently when they started shelling out all these cash. I still feel like this generation, the PS4, really did a number in them when it comes to just having better games on the platform, right? And that's why I think they went out and started purchasing all the studios. So yeah, it's definitely going to take time for Stadia to reach any of these companies.
Stadia's in a weird position because not only they're gonna get compared to consoles because they play like a console and they get console ports, not PC ports, which we're finding out more and more with comparisons, but they're going to get compared to PCs even though they're getting console content. and it's just going to make it hard for them bouncing in between all the time. And people are going to be like, Stadia's not keeping up with hardware, stuff coming out for PC. Well, they're not supposed to. They're more console. But then they're going to say, it's just going to take time. And like I said last week, I really wish Stadia would have released in beta for at least a year and just said, here you go. And it would have just been a lot easier.
Yeah, don't forget, Geforce Now was in beta for almost like 2 years before it was official, right? But yeah, it would have been nice. But people can say Project Stream was a beta, but that only lasted a month or two, right? So, better than Shadow? I would say Shadow has an advantage for sure, because they're more known, and I feel like it's easier to set up. But I feel like right now, based on where things are with both companies, maximum settings is if you want the higher tiers available as to where you can't get that with Shadow right now. So as of right now, I would say because Shadow's delayed pretty much into 2021, maximum is not a bad option, but they both have their pros and cons, I guess is what I have to say about that.
And if you
Jerry,
work
what's
out
the take for
if you work out the math on that too, that's a big one for people. So the pay per hour or the 15 a month unlimited or whatever the different tiers. If you're gonna use the PC for 80 hours or less a month, usually that tends to be okay for maximum settings. When you add up the amount of storage, if you were able to buy the same amount of storage on Shadow, what it would cost you is about 80 hours of gaming a month to make it equal out. If you're someone that's going to be 8-10 hours a day, you need to work on that PC, you need to edit, you need to be on there a lot. Something like maximum settings per hour, unless you just don't care about the money at all, is just not the way to go. It's a perfect service for just gaming and doing it in shorter spurts. And if it's less than 80 hours a month, you're probably at the best value there. But Shadow still offers things that other people just don't. It's a shame they don't have storage.
True. There you go. There you go. So have you tried to make a video about GeForce Now competitive settings, the 120 comparison versus 60, 120? I don't think so.
It's
Jerry,
very difficult. Yeah, I've toyed with this. I've got a couple new cameras. I'm trying to get, it's very difficult to show people. So I'm trying to set up to do some slow motion capture of my gaming monitors so that I can kind of show you what that 60 and 120, or if I'm running something at 144 or 165 and what that is at 60. As soon as I get that figured out, I'll get some videos out on it. I've seen some cool comparisons on YouTube and some guys have gotten some really good videos showing this. So hopefully I'll be able to do it. But when you show it, you'll be able to show the smoothness in your video, but you can just never explain to somebody until they sit down and play. I mean, I don't know how many friends have come to my house. I've sat them down at my gaming PC to play Call of Duty or Rogue Company or something, and they're like, dude, you have to build me a PC. I'm not going back to my console. Like immediately within minutes. So they feel that high refresh rate on my screen, and it just makes a huge difference for them. So but hopefully, I don't know if you guys will get to do it, but I'm definitely working on trying to bring some of those kind of videos to the channel for sure.
Yeah, we haven't really looked into it. So yeah, Jerry, when you make that, man, we'll love to see it for sure. Project Stream started in October to yeah, that's about right. So I'm not good with math. 4 months, 4 months.
Yeah, 3-4 months. It just wasn't enough.
Yeah. All right, fellas, I think that is it for the show, but appreciate you guys. Yeah, just want to give a shout outs to the members of this panel. It's always good just discussing cloud gaming, but just want to give them a chance to let you guys know where you can find them. So Duncan, where can they find you?
In the dark reaches of Twitter at One to Escape, and also at Cloudy with Games. So if you want to check me out there.
Cool. Jerry, where can they find you, sir?
Yeah, guys, same thing everywhere. Game Tech Planet, search it on YouTube, Discord, Twitter, or Facebook, and you're going to find me. So far, I'm the only one. So I should pop up for you just fine.
Cool. Holt, where can they find you?
Holt86 on Twitter, and tomorrow you can catch me on Game Man's 3535 podcast, where we're all having a joke about games and stuff.
Nice. Awesome. And we're here. All right, fellas, appreciate you guys. This was a lot of fun. It's good to definitely just be back here talking to you guys. So next Saturday, same time, we will continue. All right, appreciate you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Till next time, peace out.